Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach,
And I'm Pepper.
and today we're doing a reaction to Dune Imperium Uprising, which is a new game, I guess, in the Dune Imperium world. It's not just, I don't know, it's just from the little information that's out there currently, that I've seen anyway. It sounds like it can maybe be compatible with some of the Dune Imperium stuff, but it's not like an expansion. It's kind of, I thought somewhere I read something like a prequel sort of. I don't really understand that part of it, but we're just gonna see what they've got so far, which is very limited information, and just give our thoughts on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and another thing, I'll just make the announcement now. We're doing our top 60 games of all time, and normal Dune Imperium may have just showed up on my list, so you can go check that out because we're also doing a giveaway on that. So you may need to get yourself entered. So.
Yeah, go check it out.
Yes, but anyway, we're looking at Dune Imperium Uprising. We are on the Dire Wolf digital page, um, and yeah, there isn't much here. But what do you think of that box cover? You haven't played this one more than one. Have you played it more
I've
than
played
once?
it twice. I think I'm
Twice.
undefeated, and I'm trying to keep it that way. That's why I've not played it since.
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, it's one that Michaela and myself have played several more times, and it's actually one of the few games that we've kind of played at the full four-player count a few times as well, which and it works really well for that. And the games have always been really close, so I can definitely see why in Board Game Geek it's currently rated number 8 overall, which
yep.
is so it kind of seems crazy, but at the same time, I think it probably deserves it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
guess what do you think of this cover compared to we've got the old one right there that we own.
I think the old one gets a little too much hate. I mean, a lot of people don't like that. Just very blah cover, they say. But I mean, it's space. It's obviously going to be blah.
Hmm.
And I actually like the kind of colors in that, as well as the great logo. But this new cover is, I think I prefer it quite easily.
Yeah, it's a
Just
pretty solid cover.
It's just action packed. You got the giant worm in there. It's one of the iconic things that, as someone who's only seen the movie, and even before that, I knew there was a worm. And that one does not have that, but this one does. So
Right.
I don't know. I think it puts you in the world a little more.
Yeah, I feel like out of all the Dune covers I've seen, because there's some other non-Dune Imperium, just Dune themed games. I think this is probably the best looking box out of the ones that I've seen. Let us know in the comments below if there is another one that you think looks better. But this is a pretty solid looking cover. It makes it feel more like a battling game
Oh, yep,
than maybe the original one. That one, I guess, doesn't really give an idea of what's going on,
yeah,
but this one makes it feel like, oh, might be doing some battles or something, possibly. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, I don't know the inner lore of Dune, so maybe it means something else to people that know like all the books and stuff.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, so yeah, then we've got
Got a whole new board.
whole new
Since this
board.
is standalone, they had to provide their own board, but
Yes.
just first look at it. It's a very similar layout, kind of the battle combat area down here, and then the different, I guess I don't know what they're called, guilds or whatever that you can go to, move up those tracks, take those actions. Looks like similar type of actions.
Hmm.
I did kind of look. I'm like you said, I haven't played this very much, so I had to watch a video and see others who actually know the game a little more, and they were saying that they could spot some differences in some of the actions,
Hmm.
the cost and rewards, and I think that that reminds me of Wingspan Oceania with the
No.
new board, where it kind of made all the actions a little more powerful, upgraded them a little bit, and I don't know necessarily if these are going to be more powerful, or if it's just going to feel bigger and better, or if it's just maybe a twist of some different sort, but that had me excited versus something that's just the same board. We just
Hmm.
needed to print that because we wanted it to be standalone, but it's pretty much the same. I like that the actions are different.
Yeah, I like that they changed them up a little bit, and it looks like there's kind of a new action where you're putting out little like spies,
Oh,
I
yep.
think. So I don't know how those will actually like interact with what's going on the board, but you can see kind of
Yeah, they kind of
interconnections
go.
between some of the actions,
Yep.
which seems interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that actually plays out. But yeah, I think they're. Um, we don't actually own either of the expansions, but I think one of the expansion actually does like replace that top part of the
Oh,
board
yep.
already. So I don't know if maybe I don't know what actions those are exactly, but that might already kind of be implemented in that expansion. And then, um, yeah, as we go down to the battle area, you can see there's some worms in the battle now, which I think it's either the same expansion or the other one has the dreadnoughts
Yep.
in it. So I think they're going to kind of take the place
Yeah,
of those a
stand
little
in for
bit, maybe.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely looks interesting, and I think it could freshen up the game. I don't think I've played the game enough where I would necessarily need that, but I could. There's people that with a game being ranked 8 on Board Game Geek, it means there's a lot of people that have played it and a lot of people that really love it, and I'm sure if I had to guess, if there's changes in these actions and stuff, there was a lot of commentary probably on
Yes.
this action doesn't feel as fun, or this one doesn't really make sense, or something. So I'm guessing some of these changes were probably based on feedback, if I was guessing.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I would think, and it kind of gives me the feel of this is going to be possibly the definitive version of the game
mhm.
moving forward. I mean, which is weird because that one did shoot up into the top games of all time.
And I think it was
Uh,
from 2020, so it's
yeah,
only 3 years old or so. So
yeah,
yeah, it's not that old of a game, but yeah, it's kind of similar to some other games. It makes me wonder if it's going to be similar to like the Crew or something like that, where multiple versions get into the top 100, even though it's kind of the same game, but kind of changes it a
I
little bit.
I think it's safe to say this will be getting into the top 100. I mean, it's just so popular of a base game, and this one's just getting so much buzz right
That's true.
now. I mean, there's barely anything released for this, just a small little page with a few
Hmm.
details, and people are just diving into it for like 20 minutes, zooming in these pictures and
Right.
looking at all these things. So there's certainly a devoted fan base.
That is true, and I think currently it is the number one on the hotness for Board Game Geek. So, yeah, there's a lot of people looking at it. At least I guess the hotness doesn't necessarily, I think, mean that it's a positive thing.
Yeah.
So I think there's probably going to be some people that I don't know if peeved is the right word, but obviously whenever you come out with a new version of something, and it's not that old, people
Yeah.
can kind of get like, oh well, I just bought the base version and now I don't know. They'll claim that it's like, oh, now it's you're changing the game slightly and making it better, and now I've got the lesser version. But that's not necessarily the truth for sure. I don't know if this. I'm guessing it'll play very similarly, so
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see if it is kind of similar. It makes me think of like a Raiders of the North Sea, Raiders of Scythia, where Raiders of Scythia kind of brings in some of the expansion
Yep.
content, sort of, not necessarily exactly the
Yeah.
same, but very similar. It seems like, and I thought that worked really, really well. So I don't know if that's going to be the same feeling here. Like I
Yeah.
said, we don't have either of the expansions, so I don't know for a fact that that's how this will work. But
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, they have. I think this is kind of the only text that they released with this.
mm-hmm.
Uprising is a standalone expansion, so they call it an expansion, which is
Mm-hmm.
interesting. That expands on Dune Imperium's blend of deck building and worker placement. Continue to balance military might with political intrigue, wielding new tools in pursuit of victory. Spies will shore up your plans. Vital contracts will expand your resources, or learn the ways of the Fremen and ride mighty sandworms into battle. Plus, a new six-player mode pits two teams against one another in the biggest struggle yet. The choices are yours. The Imperium awaits. So that's one of the biggest new things that
Mm-hmm.
I saw was the six-player, two teams of three against each other. Um,
Yeah.
which I didn't see that. I wouldn't have guessed that to
No.
be in this game because it's a pretty competitive worker placement game. I didn't think they. I mean, that feels a little more Ameritrash, Dice Chucky type
Right.
thing. Just pit two teams against each other.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
so that was interesting, but I mean, I'm intrigued.
Yeah. I think that was one of the things I was most intrigued about as well, just because. Yeah. I'm wondering if it's just saying that it can go up to 6, or if it's specifically 6 that you have to do it. Because I'd like it. it'd be interesting too if you could do it 2-on-2.
Oh,
So I'm
yeah.
hoping there's maybe a 2-on-2 version as well. But yeah, I'm definitely interested in seeing how that works. I have no idea how that will end up working, but um, I'm assuming it'll kind of maybe be like, I was gonna say Viticulture World, but that's all one team, but kind
Yeah.
of where you're kind of helping each other get up that
Oh,
victory point
yep.
track. So I wonder if it's gonna be like that, where everyone's trying to get up to 10 points on your team or something like that.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
possible.
100% sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think there'll be. I guess if we go back up a little bit, um, I think if you look here, these are like the symbols for the starting cards.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I wonder if, because I think those look brand new. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if those will end up being um, more. So I guess like most deck builders, Dune, you start with the same exact starting hand of 10 cards. I wonder if this one's going to have um, slightly different ones depending on which faction you are. I'm
Oh,
not sure
yeah.
if it will or not. I can't tell just based on that alone, but that would
Yeah.
be another interesting thing
Yeah.
because I don't
I would
know how
really like
many
that.
games do that. Um,
Yeah. Not.
Clank Legacy,
I
without
mean.
spoiling it too much, you eventually kind of get different with
Yeah.
that
Yep.
starting, but um,
Can't think
I
of
don't
any
know if any
others.
other ones really do that.
I'm sure there's some out there, but so shout them out below if you know of any. But
Hmm.
I can't think of any
Yeah,
right now. But that would be really cool
yeah,
if that
I
was.
agree.
But yeah, I do wonder. I guess, like I said, I don't know what part of the books or whatever this would be based on.
Mm.
Um, but like just characters that were in that game and on certain cards. I wonder if they will repeat into this,
I'm not
or
sure.
if they'll have different versions or upgraded versions. And when you do combine, if you can combine those decks,
That's true.
or exactly
Yeah,
how easy it's going to be to combine this with previous stuff.
yeah, that's what I'm not sure of because yeah, it looks like all those cards that they're showing there, I don't think are any repeats from the original. So I'm assuming it's going to be all new stuff, but I guess I don't, not 100% sure on that. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how you can actually combine stuff. If there's going to be things you can't actually combine, I don't know, but um, yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting. I did not see this coming, I would say. Whereas when they earlier this year came out with the uh, going back to Clank Legacy, I didn't even think about that. That is Dire Wolf as well.
Yep.
Clank Legacy 2 came out. That one, I feel like I was more asking for and hoping would come, but this type of thing never really crossed my mind. So it's interesting in the same year they took probably their two biggest board games and came up with new versions of them.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be a big year.
I think it's going to be a big year for them as well.
Do you think you'll be getting this?
I don't know. I know Michaela likes Dune Imperium, so it's tough because um, I don't know if it'll be different enough, but it looks good. It looks different, and yeah, it's one of those tough things that I'm guessing it'll be kind of the full price, even though it kind of says it's an expansion and stuff. But yeah, we'll see. I could see it coming into the collection possibly. I think I'm probably waiting to see for other people to review it
Yeah.
and see if they, because I'm sure I would be shocked if the reviews did not compare the two. So yeah, get maybe an idea of what they think if it's worth having both. If this
Yeah.
one is far superior to the original, which would be a crazy thing considering the original is a top 8 board game geek. So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really interested to see what they say. I don't like because yeah, Everdell just came out with one. Everdell Far Shore that
yeah,
is
yeah.
kind of the same game with a few changes. I would say that's about the same feeling for me. I'm like, I really want to get that because it has a couple new things
Mm-hmm.
that I really like. But that one as well has a ton of expansions, and we own those expansions. So I think it's
Mm-hmm.
easier to jump to this one because we do not own the Imperium expansions
That's true.
yet.
That's true. That does make it. That was in my mind earlier. I was like, we don't have like all that extra content. So yeah, it does make it a little bit easier. And then two, I definitely know people. I know Taylor's interested in doing Imperium, so maybe if he
Yeah.
tried it and really liked it, and then I was hearing that this one was a good one, maybe I could get this one and then gift him that one or something like that. So
Not gift him this one.
not this
So,
one,
so you'd
the
still have
original.
access to it. No, give him that one.
Give him that trash one that's no longer relevant.
But yeah, I think the wooden components are still cubes. I know people. Did an upgrade kit come out?
There was an upgrade kit, so I'm assuming that's
Okay,
also going to be. That's another thing. I wonder if this is if you can get the original base game, the 2 expansions, and this base game, and I wonder if it's all going to fit in that big box.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I saw it at Gen Con. I mean, it's. I don't know. I don't remember how much content's in the expansions, so you could maybe fit it because I think there's a decent amount of space in that one.
Yeah.
Deck building games, including this one, don't have that many components, so it would probably fit.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know in the comments below if this is something you're excited about, or if you think it's kind of a cash cow. It's kind of funny in the Dice Tower Awards, just the combination of them making fun of cash cows. I think they used Azul as an example, just kind of playing off the same thing that's made you money in the past. And earlier on, both the Dune expansions were nominated for Best Expansion, which it did win. And now it's funny how now they're coming out with a new version of it as well. So it's like they're trying to milk this thing as quickly as possible because it's doing well. So who knows? Let us know if you think it is a cash grab, maybe. But yeah. Otherwise, we hope to see you on the next video. And as always, don't forget to
Keep on nibbling
on our content.